Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt, man!
All right, episode 115 of Shirt Show. We're talking with Brad from AWOL Print Shop in Massachusetts. Let's go!
Hey there, Fancy Pants.
Hey there, boo-boo.
What's going on?
Chilling on a Sunday, man. What's going on up there?
Same. Yeah, just got back from taking the kids to the trampoline park.
Trampoline park?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. That's kind of like a trailer park?
Yeah, it's a trailer park.
But with trampolines?
Yeah, it's up here. They just take a bunch of like busted ass trampolines and put them together. And the kids just hop from one to the other and try not to get tetanus.
What do you mean, busted ass trampolines? Like, that's real?
Yeah, just like an old trampoline from their yard. You know what I mean? Something the tornado blew away.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Tell me about your week.
I think it was really good. Like, I don't know, it was the perfect amount of busyness. You know what I mean? Like, perfectly busy. Not too busy, not too unbusy.
It was balanced. It was a Goldilocks zone.
Hey, so check this out. Have you ever heard of I wonder if this picture showed up. Have you ever gone into a restroom, public restroom, and on the urinal, there's flies, like either fly stickers or like that's in the porcelain or something like that. Have you ever seen that?
No.
No? Well,
you mean, like to aim at?
Exactly. So I was like, why are there flies? Because I've been going to this at the same park. There's at their urinals.
Urinals.
Thanks. I need help today. At this park, it's been there, and I'm like, I've always wondered, like, maybe that scares it's a scarecrow and it scares the other bugs off or something. Like, that doesn't make sense. But I just thought that. I looked it up, and it's exactly like that. It's because guys, if they're given something to aim at, they'll make less of a mess on the ground. We're terrible. Like, we're like animals.
I don't know. I know the guys' room's not the best, and there's probably fucking piss splattered everywhere.
Yeah.
But I used to work at a restaurant, and I had to clean the bathrooms.
Yeah.
And the girls' room was always way nastier than the guys' room. Like them being nasty and messy.
Well, I've never heard. This is the first I've ever heard of this, so I didn't know. I thought the guys would of course be worse, but anyway, that was my little piece of trivia there, is that we like to aim at stuff. Yeah,
makes sense.
It does.
Little package from John. You could have just dropped it off at your place.
Well, he'd have to see me then.
That's true.
Right?
I get it. I'd pay double the postage as well.
So I'm going to a baseball game with him this week. You have FOMO? Figured. We're going to go to a cards game. Oh, shit. Check this out.
Little logo daddy swag.
That's a beautiful colored shirt. Thanks, John. I love tan or whatever this is.
I love this beige shirt, John. Thanks.
I really do. I'm not like, that was sincereness. That was super sincereness. He knows me. That's probably why he sent me that. What color did he send you?
It's a great shirt.
What color did he send you?
Same.
You got something
it's my skin tone. Yeah.
Okay.
It's right there in front of me.
Oh, can you get it for us?
No, because I got to get out of this chair.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, sure. What else, man? So, I mean, what was it like at Upstate Merch this week? I know you made some hot dogs and hamburgers. I know you had movie night. I know you had game night.
Yep, all true.
Did you guys print any shirts up there this week, or was it
barely?
Now I feel bad. No, really. What's it like?
No, it's been good. We've been busy. We got a lot of printing done this week, and yeah, we have fun too. Like we grill on Wednesday, and movie night and all that stuff. No, it's been real good. We finished up with Kevin.
Oh yeah, same here.
So that was really good.
Kevin, you should probably say who else
Kevin
it is.
Baumgart.
Not Kevin Chromaline. Yeah, Kevin.
No, Kevin Baumgart from Set Sales.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm stoked to implement everything that we went over. And hopefully this week we're going to start scheduling outbound for everybody. So it should be a good time. We also took new headshots for everybody.
Oh, I saw them. They were adorable.
So I had to, pull a little flare out, make mine special.
Did you? I know the real reason why you did that.
Why?
I know.
Oh yeah, for that special project.
Yes, the special.
It actually just worked out that way. It was not why. But,
so you're doing it anyway, you're saying?
We were doing it anyway, yeah, because we wanted to get new headshots for like LinkedIn profiles and for their signatures on their emails, stuff like that, new hire people. So yeah, it was good. Bill did a fantastic job. And yeah, it's just been picking up. Things have been nice. It was a good time. We had a massive market here on Saturday, which was really awesome to see. Aubrey, who rents from the other end of my building, does this mercantile market every year. So it was like 56 vendors out front of our whole shop, the building. They closed the road down. And it was like chaos. There was a lot of people here Saturday.
So you were open also? Like people came through the shop?
No, which sucks because I didn't even think about it. Because the last 2 years I've just been like, yeah, go ahead, like set it up. Let's, I'll help what I can do to like get it going. But I never think to like open my doors for it. Because I'm like, who gives a shit? Like, there's nothing they can buy from me.
You could have done the New York Tea Club.
Right. Well, I was thinking about that, but I didn't have like a display or anything, and I didn't want to be that lame ass with just like a white tent and a white table with some shirts on it. So I was like, fuck it, I'm not going to do that now. I'll do it next year. But what I should have done is I should have just had an open house. I should have opened the doors, turned the music on, put like a sign outside that said come in, set up a live print rig, and like printed some shirts. Right. I just didn't think of it. I like literally that day I was like, fuck, I totally should have done this. But I missed out, so I'll just do it next time.
Well, yeah, so now you know, and you'll be able to plan.
Make up for it.
Yeah, make up for it. We got a really cool message from, I'd like to read it actually, from Ben Roof. I think that's how you pronounce his name, or it's Ralph.
I love when you read things.
I know. I figure, if I practice, what is it? Isn't it 10,000 hours? So if I practice, if I read for 10,000,
still not. Yeah, it's horrible. This is awful.
If I read for 10,000 hours, then I'll be a master.
Okay, cool.
All right. So I need you to schedule 10,000 hours in your planner for me.
Okay, get to it.
Thank you for all of the information and contacts you guys put out there. I've been struggling with new Hydro X emulsion as I make the leap into some water-based printing. I got in touch with Kevin, and he has held my dainty little silly hand all the way through this process to where I'm finally dialed. Also, on top of that, he used 1-900 Hot Stuff. Those guys are amazing. And then also was on the phone with Jesse Martinez just the other day, and what a pleasure that was. So yeah, thanks again for all you guys do. And for those trying to get a tiny little chunk of this amazing business and community.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Like, it's
Appreciate
real.
you.
Like, all those people we talk about that you call them and, you can
they're
talk to
real
them
people.
about. Yeah, they're real people.
Mm-hmm.
They really are.
Real nerdy people that like to talk about their nerdy stuff.
And friendly.
True. Very.
Oh, okay. I still can't believe we do this every single time. Like, we could record this. You know, you and I could just record
No, it's not the same.
this and then just hit play.
No.
But no, we bring you the real raw. Real raw.
Only going raw.
Raw dog it. Every single time.
Yep.
You ready?
Mm-hmm. It's upside down. It's upside down.
It's raw. This is how we do it.
Oh, God. Frank.
Look, Dill, it all starts with a screen, and whether it's new stretches or restretches, Frank and his team do it the best. To find out more, go to graphicscreenfashion.com, FFFFF,
Rank.com.
or
GreatFuckingScreens.com.
hell yes.
Hell yes.
So, we've got some breaking news. Of course, this won't be breaking because this comes out in a week, but Chromaline has been purchased by Saudi. Saudi purchased Chromaline. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. You know, my Chroma Blue. Hold on a second. Is it going to be called Saudi Blue? What's going on? Because I got to have it. But don't fret, because nothing is going to change from the Chromaline side of things just because of Saudi's purchase. Same crew, same products, same support. Only difference is Chromaline also will have an expanded offering. So there's some exciting possibilities on the horizon.
Yes.
With that, maybe you could read Kevin's tip. This is going to require you reading, and so we're both getting some practice in today.
Oh, God.
Which is
okay.
pretty cool.
Kevin's tip. Chromaline tip.
Yeah.
Most shops want to use the wide side of a scoop coater as... Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
I messed it up.
This is a good one, though. Like, so I really liked this one because
Okay.
you don't want to hear why? Okay, cool. I'll tell you. I'll just tell all my friends later.
Cool. Thanks. Your real ones. Most shops want to use as wide of a scoop coater as possible when coating screens, so they have less to block out and tape off. In best practice, you should select a scoop coater at least 3 inches smaller than the inside of your frame, so you have at least 1.5 inches of free mesh on each side. Screens have higher tension towards the frame, and too wide of a scoop coater will give you an inconsistent coating thickness. And as always, go to chromaline.com to watch Kevin's videos and learn all about the screen room. Thanks.
It was beautifully done.
Yes.
Cleaning screens is no fun, but EasyWay makes it funner. Their line of eco-friendly chemicals will help you keep your screens and your shop clean.
Truth.
You can check them out at easyway.com. EasyWay.
It's the easiest way.
Action Engineering makes all kinds of accessories printers need. You just go to actionengineering.com to have a look and buy some stuff. I just bought some stuff, maybe it was last week, a 10-pack of squeegee rubber.
Nice.
I didn't know you could do that. I thought you had to buy, like, you put them in your cart, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. They actually sell 10-packs.
Nice. It's so beautiful when you get the box and open it, and they're like perfectly cut and rounded corners and ready to go.
It is so beautiful.
It's amazing.
It's one of the better things. It's like getting a brand new screen from Frank too.
Yeah, it's true. Fresh.
You know, those are good things. So Monarch Color has a super omake.
Jesus. You okay? Is this one of those
Never.
like signs where I have to take you to
Never.
the hospital?
Never. Monarch Color has a super opaque mixing system that we both love. Here's the thing. They make ink that just does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So learn more at monarchcolor.com. Ink better, print better, be better.
Live Moss.
Monarch. Next up is Graphics Source. Look, can your shop... You like how that I said you were?
You think you're about to pull a banjo out.
Well, can your shop use a little or a lot of help in the art department? Either way, go to 1-900hotstuff.com and get in touch with Nick or Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. They're working on some tasty treats for us right now.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Graphic.
Mm-hmm. Super graphic.
Okay.
So, who are we talking to today, bud?
We are talking to Brad Czarnowski from AWOL Print Shop in Boston, Mass.
So much Boston lately.
There has been a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Hey.
All right.
What's going on, man?
Summer, man. Crazy.
Yeah.
It's been good, though. I mean, can't ask for... It's been busy, so like I can't complain.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff going on. A lot of new pieces of equipment.
What do you got coming in?
We got an auto press coming in.
Oh, really?
I figured there's no better time than now, yeah. So we're joining the Blue Crew.
Hell yeah.
End of October. It's going to be a 10.8 Sportsman.
Mm-hmm.
Brand new. So much needed. I think it's taken its toll physically and also like obviously efficiency wise. I think it needed to happen. For me, it's just like better quality of life.
Yeah, that's the big thing for sure.
Yeah, getting in and out of here at a decent hour, and being able to do other stuff. I think it's
Live
it's
your
been
life.
a long haul. Yeah.
How ready are you? Do you think you are for it? Like prepped and everything with power and air compressor and all that stuff?
We bought the compressor last week, so that's done. Big load off my back.
You bought it and you have it, or is it on its way?
No, it's on its way. So the company actually said that they could keep it at their facility until we need it. So that's great. So
Okay.
it won't take up too much space.
What'd you end up getting?
Kaiser.
Kaiser one?
Kaiser. Yeah.
I'm probably saying it totally wrong. It's like a fucking sounds like a deli roll. So
They're really good. Yeah, they're like one of the top like 3
yeah,
compressors.
they are
I
for
think.
sure.
Yeah.
They're pricey.
It looks like a spaceship kind of. So
Oh yeah,
it's got to be good, right?
yeah,
Hopefully,
Exactly.
it won't
Yeah.
break the first week you have it.
yeah. That's why I asked. Is because my fucking new one broke a weekend. So
I heard about that. Yeah.
It's totally my
That's-
fault.
Yeah,
so
hopefully it doesn't
get
happen.
a secondary air compressor.
I don't know if I can afford 2 cases, but
No, don't.
I will get a small
Yeah,
one.
go to like
I-
Home Depot
yeah.
and get a fucking whatever they are, just something small.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a small Husky. You can run that press off of a, what was it, 910 CFM or something? Is that what they told you it was? Somewhere around there?
Yeah. Something
Yeah,
like
so
that.
you can run it off of a small, 9 air compressor because that rating is for like every head running at the same time, which you're not going to be doing mostly. So if your air
Right.
compressor goes down, you could throw in an extra one and print your 1 to 4 color prints or something on your backup and be good.
Yeah, we run our we have a small DeWalt compressor that we run our heat press on.
Nice.
So that should be able to do the trick as long as we don't need a heat press that day.
So are you? Do you already have the right screen size and everything like that from manually printing? You were printing with larger screens, or do you have to buy all new screens and stuff?
Yeah, we had to buy all those screens. I think it was like the 21 by 31s or something like that.
2331.
2331, yeah. So that needs to happen. Right now, this past week actually, we rearranged the whole shop. So I flipped everything around, like the dryer's going in opposite direction, so I had to change the ductwork. We moved the manual press that we have, which is 6-on-6 Riley, and yeah, we made a lot of progress. I think space wise, we still have we weren't utilizing the space by any means like what we had. So the way we have it now, it looks like it's so much more wide open, which is crazy how like just one little thing can change
Until
that.
you get the press in there.
Until you get the press. But I can deal with that.
What made you?
So yeah,
What made you choose blue?
good question. I I narrowed it down to two companies. And the rep that I had an experience with for M&R was above and beyond the other rep that I was in contact with the other company. And I think, this show in itself had an effect on my decision too. I think just from hearing people's and your guys' opinions on auto presses. And I know you really can't go wrong. But I think in the end, it was just like that little thing that the rep that I had to come in contact with was above and beyond in terms of customer service. He's very responsive. He's already stopped by twice, after he purchased it, and just checking in and be like, okay, do you ever think about this? And just getting us ready.
That's like a great sign of a good rep too, because how many times have you purchased something from any company and they're all over you until you buy something. And then after you buy it, they're like, you never fucking see them again. Cause they're like, oh, I made the sale. Like, I don't give a shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that's literally what happened to me with Ingersoll. Like that dude was like all over me until I paid like $15,000 for an air compressor. And then I haven't heard from him since. Yeah.
And then they didn't tell you about a part that was faulty. And
they didn't tell me about a faulty part. And he sent me all this stuff for like a rebate for the electric bill. And like I emailed him back and I was like, what do I do with this? Like I don't even know how to go through it. And I still haven't heard anything. So him showing up twice is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure he'll be there for install. So
yeah. And he took us out to a shop close by, and he's like, yeah, this is this is what you'd be looking at, either the Sportsman or
Did you go to Acme?
No, I didn't go to Acme. I went to it was called Champions, and they do a lot of like sports teams and stuff like that, so a lot of poly printing and all that stuff. So it was a pretty cool facility, and it was good to see the presses in action, and I just had a really good interaction with him, and that's kind of what sealed the deal for me. Other than the stuff that I've heard on the show and that sort of thing. So,
do you know Sean at Acme?
I don't know Sean. I'm familiar with the shop. I follow him quite a bit, and he does awesome work. I know.
He's a great dude.
Yeah.
Like they're an M&R shop too, and they have. I would say go visit him and hang out with Sean, because they're going to be able to help you out with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I definitely will. I think it's going to be, I'm really excited about it. I know the learning curve it's going to take some time, but I think, in the end, it's going to pay its dividends in terms of like I said, I'm not worried about, I obviously want to increase efficiency and try to get more jobs in here, but the main thing is quality of life for me. And I'm sure we can get into that a little bit, like the time and effort it's put into it. You guys know, I'm sure other people out there know that, in the garage or in a basement grinding away, it's just like, okay, when is this ever going to end, or if it's ever going to get better?
Well, the funny thing is like when you're going from manual to auto, you think about jobs like a customer, like as a salesperson, you think, oh, it'd be sweet to have this 1,000-piece order or this 500 shirt order or whatever it is. And they're like, okay, it's going to be a 6-color front, 6-color back, 500 pieces. Like when you think about that now with an auto, you're like, hell yeah, that's a good order. And like, there's a good profit in that order and everything else. As a manual printer, you're like, fuck, that's like however many days, and it's a 5-color front. Like how many times am I gonna have to spin this? And it's a 5-color back. I got to do it all over again. You like almost don't want to take the job because you're just like, this is going to take me a week.
Yeah. I think so.
But on the auto, it's like, cool. That's like before lunch, and then I'll have like a pizza, and then.
And like you said, it's not even necessarily about long runs, like 10,000 shirt orders or anything like that. It could just be for 100 shirts that are 6 colors each. That's 600 times you're pulling a squeegee, or maybe more, depending on underbasing and things like that. And so it's like, now it's just, you're loading a shirt, and so, like you said earlier, when you first started talking about the auto, is it takes a toll. You can do that and that's fine. And you can do that for years, but eventually, it just takes a toll. And so going to auto, is a huge step. It's a quality of life, like you said. And also, it's going to allow you to bid on jobs way differently, in terms of, hours instead of days sometimes, as far as what it's going to take you to print. And so it's really cool. I don't know. I think that, so we have a 10 color, we have the same press, only ours is, I bought it in 2012. So the interface, you're going to have like a way better print run screen and all that kind of stuff. Believe it or not, like if you can imagine just 10 years ago, the touch screen, the screens were just completely different than they look now. I've actually tried to upgrade, like wondering if we can, remotely upgrade that software so my screen looks better, but we can't do it. I would even pay for it and things like that. But anyway, you're just seriously going to love it. Yeah, there's going to be a learning curve, but if you already know manual printing pretty well, I think that it's going to be shorter.
You'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be fine. Just
the biggest thing is just learning the control panel for the most part. That's going to be your biggest learning curve in the beginning.
It's weird that it's like, where do you say that? Because honestly, we were taking on bigger jobs when we were not in this facility. We were down in the basement and just with a manual press. So we were actually doing a lot bigger jobs. And now that I look back on it, I was like, it's really like weird to think about, because I don't know how that happened. And but I guess I'm being more conscious too of what we take in. That plays a part into it. But the jobs were in the thousands, like when we were in the basement, and now they're, we'll get up to 500 here and there, but it's not, consistently. We had a restaurant that had, needed shirts. They had 8 different locations around Massachusetts, and they needed shirts like on the double, like pretty much every 3 weeks. They needed like 1,000 minimum, and I was ordering Gildans by the pallet, and they would show up at so this. We might get into this, but I was printing out in my best friend's basement, who is my partner in this business, and I grew up in that. The funny story is we grew up in that basement. I had my first beer in that basement. We partied down that basement, and now we started a business in that basement. And it was kind of come full circle. But anyways, going back to the story, we would have like pallets of Gildans waiting outside, like a bulkhead. And I would get there, I would have an office job. I would get there with my shirt and tie, and it would take me like an hour to get boxes into like a kind of like a 20 by 20 foot basement, trying to figure out where they're going to go. It was wild, but we don't do a lot of big jobs like that anymore, believe it or not. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm more conscious about what we take in, and I'm thinking about that too.
Do you miss those days? You said you grew up there, in that basement. Do you miss those days, or some parts of those days?
Absolutely, yeah.
Or are you just like, no, I love where I'm at now? I mean,
you guys I know you've touched on this before with other guests, but yeah, I totally miss it. I think I'm more conscious of like how fast we grow too. This year has been crazy.
Mm-hmm.
These past 2 years have been crazy, actually. But I definitely miss, going there after I worked at like an office job, got out at 6 p.m., go there every night. You've heard the same story, print from, 6:30, shoving food in my mouth while I get down there, and get out of there at 10. And then I try to go to the gym at 10, get home at 11:30, and then do it all over again, 7 days a week. It was absolutely nuts. I think everyone hopefully there's probably a ton of people out there that have been through the same thing. And but yeah, it's funny how crazy it was, but I definitely miss it, Andy. It's like the stuff that went on and how you figured stuff out, and it's just everything that
it's addicting.
Yeah.
It's like fun time in your life, because you don't know what's on the other side of all this stuff. We were watching this documentary on this artist, and one of the things he does is put a colon in some of his paintings, and he's like, okay, on the left side of the colon is what is or what has been, and on the right side he never put anything, just like, because that's what's coming. And he's like, when you have so much more on that other side, that unknown of like, hey, are we going to be bigger? Do you want to be bigger? And if so, what does that even look like? Or what does that feel like? And those times, I really do like miss that. I think it's an important, really important to stress, because when you're in that, sometimes you don't want to be. You're like, this sucks. I hate being out of the basement. I don't have any room here or whatever. And I can't wait till I just get over onto the other side. But that's not everything's better, about.
It's kind of a depressing thought now that you bring it up, that I've never thought about, honestly.
Sorry. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like with my building and my shop and the equipment in here, like I'm kind of done. Like I kind of have everything in here that I, for the most part, want to have in here, other than a couple things.
It's
I think that's why. Die. Yeah, I might as well die now. I think that's why I look forward to like building new projects with my dad here, like fixing things up, because I get to like walk outside and like help him with stuff and like look at it and like visualize what it's going to be, and then it's done. But then when it's over, you're kind of like, well, fuck, that project's done and there's no doing it again. So now, like you said, I have everything here that I want. I might as well just die now, because I have nothing to look forward to.
Don't die.
So cool. Thanks for bringing that up.
Don't die, Dylan. Don't die.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Stick around for us, would you?
But yeah, like you said, like that's the cool part, is like when you're in that garage or you're in that basement or whatever, like you're just like, fuck yeah, I can't wait to like do this. I can't wait to do this. It's like when you're a little kid and you're like, I can't wait to be older. I can't wait to be older. And then you're older and then you just die, I guess. Cool. Next topic.
Yeah, why do we have to know that we're going to die? That's so weird, because so many other animals, they don't know that. Watching Prey last night, there was like this one instance where this wolf was going to go after the predator, and like it was just badass. Like it had no fear, and it was just like going to go, and it didn't really know about its own death. It was like, well, let's just fight then. Like it's just so crazy that we know that it's going to end one day. That's we need to go back. I wish I was really, really stupid. I'm close to just not knowing all that stuff. Maybe we know too much. This is getting really deep.
I had a moment like that today. I took the kids to the trampoline park, and their kids are fucking jumping around, doing everything they're doing. And Libby's like, Dad, why don't you come do it with us? I was like, no. Like my back will explode. So yeah, I had like an old person moment today. Speaking of old stuff, Brad, tell us how you got started.
Yeah, I think I'm excited to tell the story, because I think it's a little bit different. Well, I hope it's different from past guests, but I think it all started with me and my best friend, who I've known since the 4th grade, that we are passionate for sneakers, like all things Jordans, Nikes, whatever not Yeezys, but mainly Nikes and Jordans. And it started with us, I think the idea started kind of early 2000s so AWOL Print Shop is kind of like an offshoot of AWOL, which is a sneaker boutique in Alston, which is just outside of Boston. He has a location in Lowell, Mass too. Jordan's streetwear, all that stuff. So the idea came from people coming into a shop and saying, hey, do you guys print your own stuff? Do you do embroidery? Do you do this? And, he got sick of like people asking and said, hey, we're going to do this. And he invested in the equipment. He didn't know who was going to do it, but he's like, oh, I have this kid who's selling his used equipment. I'm going to buy it. And he got in touch with me kind of like when I was just getting out of college, which is like 2005-ish. And he's like, hey, did you ever think about printing t-shirts? Because I was like a little bit artistic growing up, and I dabbled a little bit with drawing and graphic design. And he's like, I need someone to do this. And I was like, oh yeah, maybe I'll do it. So I played baseball in college. So I went to Northeastern University. I thought I was going to play professional baseball. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go to pro. I'm going to go in the MLB, make $1 million. So, as you know, that's not always the case. And, after school, I went to grad school. I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll do the sports management thing. And, work in the athletic department, go coach somewhere, and tried all those things. Didn't really like it. So he again had this equipment down in his mom's basement where he grew up. And he's like, "Hey, do you ever think about doing this, like, for real?" I'm like, finally I gave in. I was like, "Yeah, let me know what it's all about." I watched a few YouTube videos, and just like anybody who watches like Ryan Moore or Cat Spit, like, oh, that's easy. I could do that, and, with my eyes closed.
And then you get punched in the face.
You get punched in the face. But I didn't get punched in the face at that time. So he's like, all right, pick a class that, Ryan had, and pick a location that you want to go to. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go to Chicago. He's like, all right, do whatever you need to do. He gave me his company card. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to have like a 3-day, hiatus in Chicago and learn how to screen print. So I went out to Barrel Maker Printing. Shout out to Barrel Maker, Justin and Aaron, at their old location.
What's up, Justin?
Yeah. I don't know if they remember me, but
Aaron's probably the one who taught you.
Yeah. So this is I can't stress enough how like important they were in me getting into this, because of how passionate and how much they loved. You can just tell the way they talked about everything that we went through that whole weekend. And they were such an integral part of like me being here today. So I want to just give a big shout out to Barrel Maker, because
hell yeah.
that was like, I went back so excited. I was like, I'm going to do this, and then, as Dylan said, I got punched in the face. Trial and error, trying to figure stuff out on my own. Thought I knew what I was doing, because we had all the equipment. But once you're doing it on your own, you don't have anyone to talk to. It's obviously different. But just like anything, you gotta believe in yourself. You gotta keep with it. I guess, going back to my baseball days, that was also a big thing, because, baseball in itself it's a tough game. You're failing 3 times out of 10, you're considered successful. So I was used to that failure, because I was an average, I think, college baseball player. So I was used to the failure, but I think that helped in a way, of going through those trial and errors down in the basement, trying to figure stuff out for the first time, redoing it, failing, redoing it, failing, and then finally having a breakthrough. Those breakthroughs obviously get you through to, the next step, and they keep you going.
Did you take stuff away from the Barrel Maker class? Like, were you like, all right, I'm pretty sure I can pull off some prints of my own when you got back?
Yeah. The biggest thing was like I said, how passionate they were in talking about it. They made it so they had us.
It just fired you up to get it done.
It did, yeah. And we did some discharge prints. We did CMYK. We did all those cool things, and I was like, oh, this is awesome, They were already set up on press, so that was like a big difference. But just holding squeegee and like lifting up that final screen, it's like, damn, this is dope. So I was like, we're gonna do this. I'm going back. I know what I'm doing. So it's just the way, again, the way they talked about it, and the way they handled themselves, and taking you like through the darkroom process, and how to separate and all that stuff. It made you want to, like, you can't wait to go back and get started. And hopefully, I think that's when it started for me with the community too. Like, the people that were in that class, just really cool to talk to, really down to earth. I was one of like the 2 people that hadn't even touched a squeegee yet. But just like picking the brain of like the people that have
just eager to learn.
Yeah. Just picking the brain of people that have already been in the game for a couple of years and have done, went through all the mistakes and whatnot. Just listen to them, like, oh, just watch for this, and you need to get this. And it just made me like really, really excited to start, and kind of.
I was listening to my morning ritual when I get to the shop in the morning is to like have my breakfast, my tea, and watch YouTube videos. And I stumbled across a clip from one of the Joe Rogan podcasts with Mr. Beast. I don't know if you guys know who Mr. Beast is. He does like, he has like the biggest YouTube following and channel like on YouTube. It's like whatever.
He gives away stuff.
Yep.
He gives away tons of stuff. Like the funny thing is a lot of people just see his like goofiness or see his like YouTube channel and they're like, oh, fuck this guy or whatever. But realistically, like he gives a ton to charity and he like gives all that money away and he's like super humble and like has like a modest house, modest car. Like he doesn't spend that money on himself. But there was just so much. That clip made me want to listen to the whole podcast. I don't normally listen to podcasts that much, but like I wanted to listen to that whole one. And there was a ton of stuff in there that was just like super down to earth. And it reminded me of like what you were talking about going to this show. And he was just like, get a fucking mentor. He's like, if you're into an industry and passionate about an industry and he's like, there's other people in that industry that are like super been in it forever and are also like nerding on it and passionate. He's like, talk to that person and learn everything they need to know because they've done it for 20 years and you don't need to live it another 20 years to learn what they know. Like learn it from them now so that like you can do another thing. He's like, it's just like life cheat codes. And I was like, yeah, like people should just do more of that. Like go to more classes, go to more, all this other stuff. Cause there's these people like Aaron and Justin that know stuff and they're eager to teach you and tell you, or like the other printers that were there and stuff. And it was just like, funny to hear from somebody like that, not only just the mentor thing, but just like what he does. He's like, yeah, I just live this. He's like, the reason why we do really well is because this is my everything. Like I do this all day, every day, and it's what I'm passionate about. And that's why I'm here. He's like, if you don't love what you do, then you're not going to do it to its fullest. And you're not going to be great at it. So I don't know. It just, if anyone wants to check that one out, it's just really good. But it just reminded me, like you were saying, like the passion that they had for printing made you want to like come back and do really, really good at it. So what did you do then? You came back, you got punched in the face.
Got kicked in the ball.
Did you,
punched in the face.
was it a customer job or was it something for the boutique?
So we were doing mainly custom work. So it was a cafe next door to the shop, the store. So he's like, oh yeah, you guys do this now. So I'll do 50 shirts for me. So you wanted to come down and see the setup. Funny story. I set up the job. I was ready to go ahead of time. I was like, yeah, bring him down. Let's show him how this is done. I went to grab the adhesive, the spray in the palette. I'm sorry, the screen opener to spray on the screen, and it was web spray. It was web adhesive, so I sprayed the web adhesive on the screen. I was like, oh, yeah, I just got to clean the screen off a little bit. So that,
no, you don't. You gotta throw it away and start over.
That was like, okay, yeah, this is not. I shouldn't bring anyone down here to watch their stuff get printed.
I think we've all done it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just learning. Another thing was like So my best friend that I've known since the 4th grade, his mom, they're Cantonese and they don't speak very good English. So, but she knows me. I'm like a second son to them, and I grew up there, like I said, and the dark room was right next to this small space that we had, 20 by 20, and I would be mixing emulsion. We had this one little like lamp that was bug light, and I would be under that bug light and could barely see. And she would come down, like, because she had a freezer down there, and she would turn the light on sometimes, and I would have to like say, no, don't turn the light on. And it happened like 3 or 4 times when she turned like the light on while I was mixing the emulsion. And she couldn't understand me, and I was like, all right, I can't, there's nothing I can do about it. But it was just like one of those things where like, all right, I need to get out of here at some point.
So what did you do next? You started in that, I guess everything started in that basement, yeah. And then what happened?
So I started to figure it out as, things started to get better in terms of like, okay, I can do the 1 colors, the 2 colors. And then we didn't do any marketing. We still didn't do much marketing at all. We just, we posted stuff on Instagram but what really happened was like there's some core people that were with us in that basement that are still with us today that kind of sung our praises, and that's kind of how this happened.
Did they find you from, like, how did customers find you? Did they find you from that other AWOL, actually that had like exposure, had a retail store? Or did you just do marketing through Instagram or Facebook? Or did you have a sign when you were in the basement? Like, how did you just go and knock on people's doors and say, hey, we want to print your shit? Or like, so how did you find those original customers?
Yeah, it was mainly the store AWOL that was in Alston, Mass. Like I said, the whole idea started with people coming in and wanting to know, like, oh, who does your stuff? Do you know anyone who does this? Because it kind of goes hand in hand. So that's where like a few, and my friend who's my partner started kind of like reaching out to people saying, oh, hey, we now do this, and not knowing like where I was with screen printing yet, but he's like, oh, you'll figure it out. But that's how our main core group started. That's how we got.
What kind of equipment were you working with down there?
It's the same 6-on-6 Riley that we have. We had the
hell yeah.
We had the version of the little buddy dryer for RioNet. Kind of like the version before they had no paint, none of that green and white paint on it yet. It was kind of just a regular dark black color. And a regular black flash, kind of like the starter flash dryer, which is we still have today actually. And we were exposing on a regular, fluorescent light exposure unit. I would throw like Heineken 12 packs and whatever I could find that was heavy down in the basement. And it's kind of like, yeah, it was just do it. The biggest thing I think was like I was trying to like wash out screens with like a regular hose, and I was like, when I finally got a pressure washer, I was like, this is amazing. I don't know what I was doing, and I was kind of like pissed at myself because like it was so much easier. But again, kind of the stuff you go to,
what's cool about the fact that you had to go through all that stuff and use a Heineken 6-pack to hold, on top of the blanket so that you got like that contact and stuff like that.
But throughout the day, your weight got lighter because you were drinking this.
Maybe some days. Right. Some days it was tough.
But what's cool about that though is that how like crucial, and also you learn to work with that sort of stuff. And so, like at our shop, we have a fantastic exposure unit. And if somebody came along that has never seen screen printing before, which happens all the time here, and they're trained in and they get to use, that's the very first exposure unit they ever use, is this one that does almost everything for you. They don't know the struggle. Do you know what I mean? And so it's, like, cause you went through that. That's huge. And also you think in terms of why all those things are important, like why all the things of your exposure unit are important. Whereas now it's just like, take it for granted.
So when did you leave the basement?
So 2014 to 2018. So just before to the year, 2018, we got a warehouse space right down the street, and it was obviously a big deal. We had like everything just in like this 20 by 20 square foot area of the warehouse. Kind of had all this room to play with. So that was, we've been in here for 4 years now, and it's been like it's been a learning process. We've moved stuff around quite a bit. We've obviously gotten new equipment.
What was the business difference from the basement? How did that feel going from not having really any overhead to, oh shit, we have to pay for a warehouse space? How did that go?
That was a big change. Obviously, it's like, oh, you look at, before we were looking at, I would pay his mom electricity. I was like, oh, I'll give you whatever you need for electricity, and she would be like, all right, give me a couple $100 or whatever, and then we get into this warehouse space, and we have 3-phase electric, and we're using, as we get this new equipment, we're like, okay, so it's not going to be $200 a month anymore. It's going to be 4 times that. But I think we made this decision kind of based off of like it was time, based off of what we had, like the returning customers and the accounts that we had. And we were growing out of that space, and we needed, I couldn't have pallets of Gildan boxes hanging outside the bulkhead in the back anymore.
Yeah, you had to do what you had to do at that point.
You had to do what you had to do, yeah.
I just like hearing when people leave the garage or leave the basement when they have to, not because they think they need that space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I just want to have a warehouse space. Like you were like, fuck, like I'm right. I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
Like I can't go any longer in this basement.
I wanted to stay, to be honest with you. I wanted to just be there forever. I thought we could be, but I wasn't talked out of it. But I was like, okay, I see how, we're getting shipments in every day now from all these the wholesalers, and we can't fit any more boxes down here without it being like kind of like a safety hazard. So and also like the ventilation, and I was bringing 3 changes of clothes in the summertime because it was like 95 degrees out, and on and on and on. People know about that. But
does the mom miss having you in the basement?
I'm sure she does. Hopefully she does. So the best part about that, she would be like, oh, you want to eat? I would be like, always, I would say yes. And I sometimes, I knew some of the things I was eating, but some of the things I didn't know, and they were all delicious though. So I will say that, it's such a, food, we have a passion for food, and maybe we'll get into that too. Food is so comforting sometimes, like no matter what it is, like if it's, you can tell, just like, we talked about Justin and Aaron, like they were so passionate and how much they love screen printing. You can tell when that passion and love is put into food. And that's what was happening with my best friend's mom, who was, always offering me food. And you can tell, like, sometimes that gets you through a tough night, or a tough day. That's all you need. And it's like, oh, wow, this is like, she cares. And she's like, she knows what I'm going through sometimes. And, she wants me to, she's trying to help and trying to make me feel better. So.
Yeah, I mean, a good dinner makes things better. I mean, that's why.
What's the thing? It's like people being hangry. It's like, that's I don't know. I never planned this, but that's kind of why, like, a lot of the perks that we have here is food. Like, we grill on Wednesdays. We have steak night. Like, we have a shitload of snacks all day long. It's like, because if you're having a shit day or you're having a hard time out there, they can come in here for 5 minutes, sit on the couch, grab a snack, and then they get up like, oh, I had a drink and a snack. Like, I feel refreshed. Or, we order a pizza or whatever. It's just like, everyone's like, oh, fuck yeah, food.
Yeah, like sometimes, and most of the days are good here, but every once in a while, you've got one of those days. And like the best 10 minutes of your day is like the mac and cheese that you microwaved and that you hopefully are eating uninterrupted. Like nobody comes in and tells you something even worse, because sometimes somebody will come in when I'm having lunch or whatever, and I'll just be like, time out, just give me 5 minutes because I don't want to hear whatever horrible thing it is that you're about to say. Just want to enjoy these 5 minutes. And so I don't know, food makes things better.
Brad, what's the story with the passion for food?
I grew up watching like Julia Childs and Yen King Cook. I don't know if you know those two people.
I know Julia Childs.
Yeah. So they were like, just, I guess it plays into the artistic side too. Like, I could always visualize something if I saw it and then do it, So I guess like just growing up, I was cooking with my parents and, watching those food shows growing up. And then I, never stopped really. And then as I got older, you get to appreciate things more as you mature and you know, getting to travel outside of the U.S. and
It's the best part.
Yeah, it's
Best part about travel is food.
It really is amazing. I was lucky enough. My office job, I was worked at Boston University, and I was able to travel for work quite a bit and get to experience those things, and that kind of like took it to the next level. My wife, she's very on the same level in terms of food, and we like to. I think it also plays into the shop too. We work with a lot of local restaurants, and we know a lot of people in the industry, and that's obviously a benefit, not just business wise, but also like getting to see what they do and like getting invited to certain things, and I think all those things, but mainly the artistic side, I think was a big thing for me. Like being able to like, okay, I'm gonna go home. I saw this on TV. I saw this on this food show and recreate it that night. And then just, we love to eat, obviously. You have to love to eat.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And that's why we do some of the food merch. The shop shirts that we put out is all food related and kind of like telling that story a little bit.
Yeah, there was one. What was it? The one I saw the other day. It was like did you roll the shirt up like a sub or something and put it in the bag?
Yeah, we put it in. We wrapped it up. We have so we have a DTG machine, and we have the parchment paper, so we just use that as like the sub paper. Wrap that up, and then put it in. We went to our local sub shop. Like, hey, this is a weird request, but can we get 10 or 12
Get
of
like
those
a hoagie
sub
bag?
bags? Yeah. Instead of like going ahead and order, I just figured they would give it to us, which they did. So that it was mainly like just connecting with people, like telling our story a little bit, like going back to our connection, our passion for sneakers and how people, you know, those people do it, not by any means on the same level, but we can control these. We have the opportunity to like, okay, let's do a pizza t-shirt, put it in a box, or do a sub t-shirt, roll it up like a sub, you know, just to pay homage to the things that we've had growing up and what we're.
Well, it's just cool though, because it's not just like the generic, like every print shop makes a print shop shirt or whatever. It's like, it's you, like it's got your, no pun intended, but it's like your flavor of like what you guys are into.
Yeah.
And it's like here, like we make shirts that are like Sasquatch shirts or alien shirts or motorcycle shirts or whatever. It's just like, that's just the shit that we're into. So we want you guys to be into it too. It's pretty awesome.
Thanks, man.
So tell us a little bit about the DTG machine. What was the reasoning for getting that?
Nah, we don't want to hear anything about
No, we do. Yeah. I want to know, like, because you're going from a manual and then you're like, oh, let's buy a DTG machine. Was there a reason for that, or was there a market that needed it, or you just were like, fuck it, let's get it?
I'm not gonna. Yeah, I would say it was a 50-50 decision, like me and my partner, and I was like kind of on the fence about it, but there's a love-hate relationship obviously with that machine. We have the F2.
That's what everyone says.
Yeah,
It's more about, for us, it was the hate was more like the pre-treat part of it.
Yeah.
It's just such a hassle, and sometimes it stained certain shirts, sometimes it didn't. I mean, the pre-treat is the worst part.
Yeah.
For us anyway, it was always the worst part.
That's the part that will make or break you, I think. You know, just with the print, but also, like you said, with the stains and stuff like that. But what really was like, not the kicker, but like we have had the machine since we moved in here. So like we got it just after 2018. We had no idea about like the elements of like heat and how that affects like the print head, and it's a water-based ink, and we just kept on running it one day, and it was like 95 degrees in here, and that light was on. It's like, oh, what is that? It looks like it's not good, but we'll keep on going because we need to get this done. And stuff happened, and all of a sudden we printed the next shirt, it doesn't print. It's all these lines going through it, and we had to, you know, something's not right. So we call Epson, and Epson's like, yeah, you probably have a clogged print head. And we try to do a million cleanings, and obviously didn't work. So we had to pay quite a bit of money to have a tech flown out and install a new printhead. And that was kind of like, I was like, all right, after this, we're getting rid of it. We're going to sell it. Let's get it out of here. But it's still here.
The fucking disgust in your voice right now. You're like defeated. You're like,
it's one of those things where when it works, it's great. When it doesn't, you want to throw it off the loading dock. You know,
and I feel like that's why so many people are diving into DTF stuff right now, is because they don't have to worry about those issues with pre-treat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can do roughly the same results with any blank, and they can just heat press it and be done with it.
Yeah.
So,
and also ordering the DTF. I mean, you don't have to produce it. Most people aren't producing it, like in their shop. They're just ordering it and it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're in the space now that you moved out of the basement into. This is the same space.
Yeah.
And so it's was pretty big, obviously, if you're able to fit an auto in there. And you said you had some extra space. So, like with an auto though, I've noticed all of a sudden you scale in a different way, and you need extra space for boxes and stuff like that. So do you have box storage space also?
We do. Yeah. So we only use half the space right now that we have. So there's like kind of like not a door, but it's like kind of, it's a half of concrete gateway that leads to another storage space in the back. And
that's yours too?
Yes. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So we have room to grow.
So you have room to grow.
Yes. Yeah. So we have room to grow. But again, I'm conscious of how fast we grow and that sort of thing. But we have plenty of room to grow into and to move stuff around, and we're basically only using half of our square footage right now, which is good. It's always nice to have.
Why are you so weary of how fast you grow?
Because of what a hair in the show.
Sorry, we ruined it for you.
No. It's one of those things. I think I would say
it's good though. I mean, it's smart to do it that way.
I think the people that are working with me, I care about a lot. And I want them to have an opportunity to experience what I experience on a day-to-day right now. I'm working for myself. I went full-time last July. Actually, the date we were supposed to record, July 31st, that was my date I left my job. So I was working 2 jobs up until that point. So I care about the people that I work with because they're basically enabling me to do what I do every day. They're helping me. They're all part-time. So they come in, 1 day a week, 2 days a week. I have someone, my buddy Josh comes in every day after he gets out of work. And, my wife currently just gave her notice. So she will be full-time to help me out.
Oh, wow. Was that a big deal for you to go all in finally a few weeks ago? I mean, and do you think that you did it at exactly the right moment? You could have done it sooner, or are you thinking like, wait, maybe I did it too soon, or where are you at in your head right now?
So and it was actually last July, so it's been a year now. So
okay. Okay.
I think we can still touch on that question. The first thought was like, obviously you're scared, you don't know if it's going to work out. So what happened was my wife and I were actually on my honeymoon when COVID happened. We had the second leg of our honeymoon in Kauai, and that's when the Rudy Gobert thing happened. And we're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be fine. We'll just grab another Mai Tai, sit by the pool, and it'll all go away. Little did we know, I got a text from BU saying, oh, we're shutting down the next day. And we're like, oh shit, we're gonna get stuck here. That's not the worst thing in the world, but it's a lot of money. All these things start racing through our head. But fast forward, what I want to touch on is that was COVID. A lot of shitty things happened, but the thing that I got back was time. And that time I used wisely to put myself in the position to go full time. last July, and my wife really
So you were working from home because BU closed
exactly
down.
exactly
All right. So you had a lot more time to work on the business and think about what you really wanted to do.
a whole lot more time. I was actually logging on. They don't know this now, but now they will know if they listen to this podcast. I was logging on from here, from the shop.
Right.
You could do, it was like they went remote, you're
Yes.
saying? Classes went
Yeah.
remote?
And I was an academic advisor, so I, make sure students graduate. I work with the MBA program. So I work with the evening program, so I didn't have to, I had meetings during the day that I could log onto, but thank God for Zoom backgrounds. They didn't know where you were.
Right. I saw this one, I don't know if it was a meme or whatever, reel on Instagram, and it showed this guy at the beach, and he had this green screen tent, that he was putting up. He was just going to do all, I guess
There's
he
a
was going to work from the
guy.
beach the whole
There's
day.
a guy who does that. I don't know if it's Instagram or TikTok, where he has like a rig built that he wears like over his shoulders, and it's got that green screen behind him. But he does like crazy shit while he's on a meeting. Like he'll be going down water slides or like fucking paragliding or something. And the video shows like his desk background, but he's like this the whole time, like fucking shaking all over the place. He's just doing crazy shit. That's what you were doing when we were printing. You just had that
I was doing all
green
that
screen
stuff,
behind you, and you're like, yeah, I just gotta, and you're just doing this.
I was wearing my GoPro. I was logging on the meetings.
What was your growth from going all in to before that? Were you just kind of like, I'll get to shit when I can before that? Or did you notice like, now that I'm all in, and like shit just took off?
It definitely took off. And I don't know why really. It's just we got more stuff. I think the time that I had to work on the stuff that I couldn't because I was doing two things, that definitely played an effect. And I think that's maybe the reason why that we took off a little bit. But yeah, definitely sales took off from the get-go once I went full-time in July. Very thankful for that because I didn't know if that was obviously not guaranteed. But yeah, like we have a lot of people that we work with that are very fortunate, that are super cool, that some of them are very creative too as well, which helps. And they understand the ins and outs of screen printing a little bit better. But we also have people that, like I said, work with us ever since we were down in the basement, and now they're like, okay, this is crazy how far you guys have come. I'm so proud of you guys, and it's so cool that we've been together for so long. That's awesome. That's a cool thing.
What's your main focus? Like, what are your markets generally? Is it the restaurant stuff? Is it Boston stuff? What is it?
Definitely local. I don't think we have a major niche right now. I would say we definitely have I think from the store of like AWOL, that people coming in and out, I think it's more of like the smaller startup brands that people want to start their own clothing brand, and they need some guidance and that sort of thing. But I don't think we have like a main niche right now, which is good and bad, I think.
Well, it's good that you got that logo work though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can rely on the town and the people that you know and everything else.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you feel is on the horizon for you? Like, what's next for you guys? I know you said you got an auto, but is there more plans for that? Is there more, background you're trying to figure out? How do we expand our sales capability? Are we trying to do other things, or is the auto just like, let's just focus on getting better at production and getting things out of here more efficiently?
I think it's a little bit of both, but I think I'm more conscious of the sales part because, I've heard, I think Andy touched on it a bit before, like the auto takes care of itself in terms of like sales, in terms of you'll get those bigger jobs, you'll be able to take on those bigger jobs. And I've heard people say, they'll start coming in eventually, once you get the auto.
Yeah.
So that I'm more conscious on the sales side in terms of how we take those jobs in, how efficient we are, the dark room, and all those things that need to happen, you know, with getting a more efficient machine.
Right. You feel better about it.
Yeah.
So I came across this article the other day, and it was about this girl, and she had a lemonade stand. She was young, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9, and she had this lemonade stand in front of her parents' business, and there was a festival going on like that weekend, okay? And she was cleaning up, and the festival organizers recognized that or something and called authorities or something to have her shut down because she didn't have a vendor's license or any sort of license, right? She was just selling lemonade. And so the police officer they actually showed up and they said, hey, you can't sell lemonade here. And so do you think that one, and oh, by the way, I think that guy gave her $20, it's like, hey, I'll take some lemonade. Don't you, whenever you go to those lemonade stands, you give them extra? I always throw them a little extra. But
my daughter just did a lemonade stand this week.
At that thing? At
my house, out front of my house. Like her and her cousin did a lemonade stand. They made like $120.
Well, there you go.
Really
they were selling lemonade for like $1.
I think it's it's so good, when you have a kid that they want to actually their first experience.
I was fucking proud of her, dude. She called me and she's like, hey, can you and some people from work come up? Like, we want, people, we just want people to show up. And I just felt that feeling of she's eager to get sales. You know what I mean? She was like, right. Whatever. So the whole shop walked up. It was actually after Grillin' Wednesday and we all walked up and whatever. But it was just like you said, she didn't sell $120 or whatever worth of lemonade. People would pull over off the side of the road and be like, I'll have a lemonade and a brownie, because that's what she was selling. And normally it would have been $2, but they gave her a 20 and just said keep it.
Right. So here's the thing. Would you rather her not get shut down? Because they eventually, I think they got a license the next day somehow and then opened up and we're legit. So would you rather that she go through that experience of, hey, this is real life. You're going to get punched in the face. Or, when you went over there and you said your whole shop went over and had one of them needed to say something like, these brownies suck. I want my money back.
Right. Fucking spiked it.
Because that's real, right? Do you want to give them the encouragement to say, hey, this is great. And it's all unicorns and butterflies, or do you think it's a good thing that happened? Because when I was first reading that, I was like, those fuckers, they should have just let that kid have the lemonade stand.
I think when you're a kid, it's nice to encourage them to want to pursue that more, not necessarily get kicked in the teeth yet, because they're not ready for that. Because I feel like if a kid gets kicked in the teeth like that, they're never going to come back to it. They're like, fuck it, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want that traumatizing experience, that grown up yelling at me.
But that's real. That's real.
No, it's real. But I'm saying, if I was up there and her struggle that day was to make sure she had enough lemonade made and enough brownies made because so many people were stopping. That to me fired her up to be like, I want to fucking do this way more. I want to do this over and over again.
Well, and that could be true, but I'm sort of thinking maybe that's what has made people so soft now. And so I think the next lemonade stand I go up to, I'm going to go up and just trash it. Maybe,
We're sure you get a video of that.
Just, yeah, make her or the kid or whatever. Just,
I fully agree with you of people being soft and people needing real issues. But I feel like something like this, I would rather have her be eager to do it more and more. And maybe on her 5th lemonade stand, someone is allergic to lemons and chokes to death on the sidewalk. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like in that instance, it was probably good for the story you're talking about. It was good for her to know she needs a permit so that she could keep going and be there. That's something that she just needs to do. It's just the rule of business to do what she got to do.
Yeah, and she also learned about competition and her competition actually called the police on her. You know what I mean? To say hey, you're killing it over there and you're affecting our sales. No fair.
Right, but fuck those
Interesting
people.
life lessons.
They should have
you know?
let her finish and then say, "Hey, if you want to come back, you need
Make better
a
lemonade.
thing."
Make better lemonade.
Right. Yeah, seriously. Assholes. All right. You Brad, you want to do some questions we got on Instagram for you?
Sure.
Okay.
There's definitely quite a few.
Yeah, let's see. Joshua Patrick said, "Bad boy or death row?"
Bad boy for life.
Does Joshua Patrick happen to be at your shop?
He is my right hand man right now. Yeah.
He's staring at you right now.
Because I see a picture. It looks like he posted
He's-
something. Here.
This mural on the back, he did that. He's a really talented graffiti artist too.
Dana Nash asks, "What are your thoughts on glitter?"
Wash it off before you go home.
From the club, right?
I love glitter. Glitter everything.
Dude, not me. I fucking hate glitter. So I have such a
It
fiery.
takes me back to my
These
childhood.
days,
Like you do the Elmer's glue and then the art days, so you throw glitter on it and then bang it off.
So bad
These
for the
days-
environment.
It is, yeah.
we so glitter you have to have special mesh, right? And so we usually don't have that mesh coated, and so we try to shift just to vinyl if we're doing glitter. It just seems easier if we can. You know what I mean? If the
Yeah,
design
we're not
is-
talking glitter for screen printing. We're not talking screen printing anymore. We're just talking glitter in general in life. Let's see. Cane of Corn says, "Ask him what the secret to making a good pizza is."
I guess the dough. Yeah, I would say.
Are you making homemade dough?
Oh yeah. We
Are you
have,
Andy with your
I don't know.
Target dough?
Maybe Andy and I should have a cook-off. I have 2 uni ovens here at the shop that we break out.
Nice.
I think there's an art to making. So as a kid, I made a lot of my own dinners growing up. My parents, I had a stepdad and my mom, and they both worked late, and so I would make my own dinners a lot of times. And so I mastered the art of making box stuff better, or just terrible things better. You would have a box of, I don't know, rice-a-roni or something, and you get sick of that because
Fucking
you've had
love
it so many times.
rice-a-roni.
And
San
like,
Francisco
how can I
treat.
make it a little bit better? And so you would just add, your own kind of version of it. And so I can I guess you call it like doctoring things up. And so I would always do that. And so I guess there's 2 ways to do it. You can buy the crust and then make it like that and try and make it good. You can even take frozen pizzas and doctor them if they don't have enough stuff on it. You throw extra things on it. Or you can go from scratch. I know that you can do that too.
I'm not a pizza snob by any means, but if you want to buy dough, Wegmans has the best dough, pre-made dough. I grew up on like the Greek style pizza. I still love it. I guess I started making my own dough during the pandemic, so I had more time to do that too. And that's why my boy Zach is asking that question. I think it's the dough, and then like the ingredients itself. You can get, I really go simple on the sauce, simple on the cheese.
But you simple, do you mean not a lot of sauce?
I would say
What
a
do you mean simple?
medium amount of sauce.
It's not
just
too
not
saucy.
like
Not too
crazy
saucy.
with like
Yeah.
chunks of fucking garlic in it and like all this weird shit. It
Speaking
gives me,
of
like,
Zach-
a good sauce.
Speaking of Zach, you said something earlier how when you sprayed I think you said web it into the screen instead of opener. So when we had Zach on, he talked about, and you did that right in front of a customer.
Yeah.
He talked about doing that in front of a customer, and he loves those moments. And so he would have used it as a teaching moment, I guess. He would have said, yeah, see, I just really effed up. And so
See, I just ruined this screen.
See, I wasn't supposed to do that. Yeah.
Do you trust me to keep going with your order?
you're like, here's what like screen printing is hard. Here's what is not, you're not supposed to do this. And here's the right way. Here's how I fix it, I guess.
Our buddy at 211 Print Shop says, "The homie, definitely one of the best in the game. Quick fashion question. Should I wear this Tech 9 with the high tops, or should I wear this Uzi with my low tops?"
Jose. I would say the low tops. And I don't know about the ammunition or the firearm.
Well,
Is
that's
he
a
referring
question.
to Tech Nine, the rapper? Because you know
No.
that Tech Nine has his own
he does.
print
He
shop.
does, yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe he's not.
What are your favorite shoes?
So for me, shoes. So I'm gonna say Ken Griffey Jr. was my favorite baseball player growing up. So there's a couple things. I'm not to go too in deep about shoes. The shoes themselves, resale value. Obviously, some shoes resell for more than others. But then there's the other part of it where the athlete makes the shoe.
Hold on. 2-part question. Favorite shoe just because it's this thing in your brain that's like blown up to be this amazing shoe, or a shoe you actually love to wear every day?
Okay.
I need the two answers.
I would say Air Mag, which is the shoe that Marty McFly wore in Back to the Future. They actually released that shoe.
Yeah, I saw that. The self lace.
Yeah, self-lace, glow in the dark, and
I saw. Do you know who Casey Neistat is? He did a whole video on that.
So that's
yeah,
your idolized shoe?
that's the shoe that like I would not necessarily resell, but if I had a chance to get, I would get just to have it because it was like nostalgia and
iconic.
also a dope shoe.
Yeah, for real.
But
what's your daily walker? What do you wear now? What do you have on right now?
Probably the Kirkland ones from Costco. Those are good.
He's got
I
like
mean,
fucking flip flops on.
now I have red Jordan 1s, so black and red Jordan 1s. They're very iconic. It's the one that got banned by the NBA. But going back to your question, the shoe, for me, the athlete made the shoe. Like, meaning like, I want the shoe because I grew up idolizing the athlete. So the Griffey Max. So he had his own signature shoe, his own like campaign by Nike, like Griffey for president and all that stuff. And I wanted to be him growing up. And so I need to have a lot of those shoes in my closet for sure.
Nice. Okay. Let's see. He asked another question, so we're going to ask it. Marketing advice. You're so good at it, man. Very creative, from the stickers to the branding and all the way down to wrapping the tee like a sub. Genius. I guess that's not a question, but my question with that would be, what else are you working on? Do you have any other creative things for packaging or marketing your own shirts?
Yeah, I think the next thing that the next big project in terms of like own shop shirts is like doing collaborations with restaurants that we've printed for since the basement. So like we have a really exciting stuff coming up. It has to deal with sneakers a little bit. And I think I want to do more of that just because I think food and merchandise are kind of like getting bigger and bigger, and we have an opportunity to work with people that are just as creative as us, you know, that work in restaurants and build their own brands themselves. So yeah, we have a few things in the mix that are food related that will be not, I don't want to say over the top, but kind of like hopefully people
just fun.
will dig. Yeah.
Awesome. Print Girl Mafia asks, what's your favorite Pantone color?
Geez, I don't have these memorized, but I would say like,
Hey, I don't either. Don't feel bad. I just go with cool gray.
cool gray.
1, 2,
fucking
3,
would.
6, 8. One of those cool grays.
I'm gonna have to say like anything like Volt or Safety Green. Like I love like the neons. Like
Like the beginning pages of the Pantone book with the neon colors?
I think it's like it's 9 something. I don't. I know
Like
that just because
806.
I just printed it, and I love like the neons and how they clash with like dark gray and black, and so Oregon is I'm big fans of their uniforms and that sort of thing too.
Was it like 80? Is it 802? Which is the neon green? I think I might be fucking that up. I like 2995, which is like that like turquoisey blue color. Let's see. Aesthetic Imprints asked, how how to kill the one-man shop and build a team. Tips or pointers?
I love this question. This is a good one.
Yeah, I would say. So I was lucky because my wife, everyone that I have now, worked for her in retail. So she is kind of like.
What was she doing?
She was working in retail for Champion, and she worked for TNF, the North Face. But
Nice.
just recently, she worked for a food company. So she got out of the retail game, which I'm happy for because it's definitely a grind. But those folks that she brought along and recommended to me were her like top-notch people, and they were creatives and wanted to be in a place where they could be around art and stuff like that. So I'm fortunate enough for that. But I would say, to answer the question, I would say focus on people that you get along with, and also people that have a passion for, I wouldn't say screen printing, but have a passion for just learning. I think going back to what I learned down in the basement, I was just like, what kept me going was like, I just want to learn how to do this. I want to learn how to do this and go to the next step. And I think that's what, that keeps the interest going. And I think that's what will help folks that are looking to hire a team. Just they focus on people like that have it. Now, the problem is like, finding that person right now, finding anybody. But
you're in a pretty big area and a big market, so you have way better options. I think also that question has a couple angles to it, because one is what you just said, like how do you find the right person, but also how do you pay for them? And so, like if you're a one-man shop, when I was, or a one-woman shop, I got into the idea of, I can do that. I'll stay late, or I'll work on Saturdays. I'll wash screens on Sundays. Like, I don't need help. Like, the last thing I want to do is pay somebody any portion of my profits, or maybe I didn't even have enough profits to pay for them. And so you're sort of like stuck in this, I really need help, but how do I afford that? And so I don't know. I think that you just have to take a leap. That is, if you want to grow. Like if you're in your basement, it doesn't matter so much, because you could just do it all yourself. You don't have those bills, and you can continue doing it the way you're doing. But if you have an idea to scale, I don't know how like possible it is. If you're by yourself, I think you need a team in place. You need somebody to answer the phones, or to help with pickups, or to help you with, like being even just an assistant or something. And so I think you just have to do it. You just have to hire that person, and then realize that the time you'd spend maybe on, cleaning screens or reclaiming screens, you could spend on doing a little bit of marketing, going to a restaurant, just like you do, and say, hey man, I want to print your shirts. And so I don't do that anymore, because you eventually have you're at the point where you have, all those referrals, and business just kind of comes to you. But initially anyway, that's really tough, isn't it? Hiring that first person, that's super tough.
Yeah. Yeah. Brad, do you have any questions for us?
I do. I think the first one pertains to the show. I think you guys have not, doesn't mean like you need to evolve or whatnot, but I want to know if there's anything like that you guys have in the works too, in terms of, I saw you guys do the live thing at Maylab, and that was dope. And I think, is there a possibility for you down the road to do this full time, or is there something in the works that's gonna?
Well, maybe for Andy when he's retired and on the beach, this will just be his 1 day a week commitment.
For me, honestly, I love the small, not very produced. This has nothing against Chad, because he does such a great job, but not overproduced. Let's say, out of our basement, not knowing what we're doing, punk rock sort of,
which is kind of like why we don't script things, or we fail hard at a lot of things. Yeah, but like, no, realistically, like there's a lot of things that we do that are just like, fuck, like, we didn't think that through. But that's part of it. You know what I mean? That's like what we like to do is we like to show up on Sunday or whatever day we have this scheduled and we just go with it. Like we have no idea what's going to happen. We have no questions. We just want to have a conversation with you and see what happens. But me and Andy pretty much at episode 100, was it 100 or 102? We started talking about like, what do we want to do next? Like, what do we want to do to make this different? Or what do we want to do to just level up the show? Like, we don't want to change it. We just want to like do like more stuff that makes it more for the people. So yeah, we want to do more live stuff. We want to like get a rig to where we can go, because we go to a shitload of trade shows anyway, or just like someone's shop we go visit and we just like sit down and record with them. We want to do more of that. There's some stuff in the works right now with like the website where I want to make a calendar on the website that like everyone in the industry can put industry events on. So it's like the place to go to see like anything and everything that's happening. I also want to put on like a blog that I can ask specific people that have researched certain print topics to be able to like write an article and put it in there. And it's like, here's all the information you need to like tackle this project, or here's the ROI on this piece of equipment, or here's whatever. Stuff like that, like just more stuff, like more knowledge we can put out there, more help, because we have it's not me and Andy. I mean, it's me and Andy here talking, but like this show realistically is a conglomerate of a shitload of people like helping us and giving us knowledge, and the guests and everything else. So it should just be a community thing.
I think so. And you know, in Wayne's World, when they are having fun and it's just two of them and they're goofing around, and then they get Rob Lowe and he ruins it for him, you know? And so like, I want to just have fun. I want to, I think that we thought about that. And in fact, there was a person that was going to help us that would have been really great at it. I mean, she knows what she's doing. She would have helped us in, I think, many ways, and potentially the show could have even been better. But I'm just like, it's really scary because I don't want to show up here and not want to show up here. Like, I want to show up here. I want to give back to the industry. I want to talk to other shops. I want to talk to suppliers, and I want it to be fun for everybody. And you know how sometimes it can all of a sudden flip and not be that way. And I want to be careful that I can maintain it as long as possible, sort of the way it is.
It's the same with the sponsors of the partnerships or whatever too. Like we're very strict and stern on like who we have, because we don't want that. Like we don't want to talk about MeUndies, or we don't want to talk about even apparel or apparel manufacturers.
I want to talk about them, but
yeah, I mean, whatever. Well, you want to see them, you don't want to talk about them. Like, you know, press manufacturers, anything like that. We've had offers from people to do it, and we're like, no, we don't want to, because we don't want to be biased. We won't want to like me and Andy are both like blue shops, but we don't want to be sponsored by M&R because we don't want people to feel like we're pushing M&R all the time.
Yeah.
Like we're not. We're just talking about what we have and what we respect. But we'll tell you straight up, like if you want an Anatol or a Rock or whatever, yeah, fuck yeah, go for it. As long as like you have the support and you have what you need. So I don't know. I feel like we're just trying to do what we can and hang out with you assholes on Sunday. That's like our goal. So,
and I say all that, and I don't want to sell out on everything, but you know, if Elon Musk wants to call us or anything and wants a part,
you
of
have a
this,
real hard on for Elon right now.
these days, you know.
Yeah, I get it. Next question.
Yeah. So, I would say if you had one choice to one purchase, right? That was money's not an issue, non-press related, can't be a press. What would it be?
Non-screen printing related?
Non-screen printing related, yes.
It's a good question. I like it.
I think I know. Like money's no issue. Like
no
Elon backed me. Elon sponsored me.
You
I
have
can buy
more
whatever I
money
want.
than Elon right now. You're bigger than Elon.
Andy, do you know? Because I think I know.
You go first.
I want one of those like crazy over the top old missile silo doomsday bunkers. That's like I can live in for infinite times. Like it's got a garden already built in, and it's got a movie theater built in, and it's got everything in it. I can invite like 100 of my friends when everything goes to shit. That's what I would spend my money on.
I like it.
All right.
That's good. Are they in the middle of nowhere usually though?
Yeah.
I guess. Well,
Usually.
you're there now, so there's
Right.
not a big difference. So
Mhm.
okay. I don't know. I was gonna say something funny, but in reality, like real talk, I would take a second home on the ocean, you know. So
Like floating on the water.
Waterworld.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would,
Yeah. So a yacht.
you would
eventually.
Kevin Costner
No.
it right now.
Like just on, I don't know, Southern California somewhere, a house, because I don't want to spend January, February, basically March in St. Louis. I want to go where it's
You want
pretty.
6 months in St. Louis, 6 months on the beach.
Yeah, 6 months here is great. Like there's some months here that are beautiful,
Mhm.
but there's months here that aren't. So yeah, I'd probably just do something like that. But you know, second home is, I don't know, especially in California. Forget it.
Brad, what would you buy?
I would buy.
Those sneakers.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe I would just open up my own sneaker boutique and do that. No,
What's that one on YouTube where that dude invites celebrities in and they like go that like every shoe's like shrink wrapped and they go in and get to pick like
yeah,
a
sneaker
couple
shopping.
pairs of her?
Yeah, Joe LaPuma is like a complex guy, and he invites celebrities in. Like they talk about like it's kind of cool because I think it's kind of cool because they talk about the history of the shoe and like how it relates to them, because some of them have made shoes and collaborated on shoes, so it gives people a background. But then like the end, they're like picking out stuff and
They act like they're buying shoes.
yeah, that's where I get kind of, well, not just that, they're like, oh wow, I'm like, why would you buy that one? You know, that's what
Yeah.
but like it's like, dude, this is not, yeah. But I do like the historical part of it. But yeah, that's sneaker shopping on Complex.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
So you'd buy a shoe boutique.
yeah, either that or like I would go like with a home like Andy in Southern California or maybe like in somewhere out of the U.S.
Well, guys, when
you guys have-
the world ends and the ocean fucking destroys your house, you can come hang out in my sick fucking doomsday bunker.
But being in Boston, you have lots of great beach opportunity there, you know, so your second home, the notion for you anyway is a lot easier because you could just drive there or something. But if there's one answer I would give if it's not real though, but something like, maybe one day would be real, but I would take 10 years. Like I would back up.
You want a
10
time
years,
machine.
not mentally,
Time
but
machine.
physically. Like I don't want to give up mentally 10 years, but just go back 10 years physically. I don't know. That's worth that's priceless, honestly.
Okay. You just want to like stem cells.
So, yeah, sure.
Elon's working on it.
Mm-hmm.
Elon again. He's the theme of this week. So, any more questions?
One last one. Like I'm already I don't know why I am, but like I'm already thinking about like auto reclaim and CTS and that sort of thing.
You should be,
Design.
honestly.
Yeah. Why you guys have said, let me just plug my charger here. You guys have said that CTS was like the biggest return in investment.
I would say almost get CTS before the auto.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Before the auto. That's I don't know, like maybe, but I would say definitely before. We bought a CTS before we got a third auto. That was a no-brainer because we couldn't make enough screens fast enough and accurately. It was sort of like getting a third auto. So we just had two autos.
I'm not
and then
saying
we got
like
the
get a CTS and be a manual shop for the next 10 years. I'm saying like if you're investing, like CTS is a no-brainer early on. And that's the one piece of equipment I wish I got like 5 years sooner than I got.
Yeah, totally. But I mean, I think you were just trying to shock people by saying that. Honestly,
No.
auto first, CTS, or just order one now. Do yourself a favor, get one on.
Same
So
the
time.
way.
both, ideally, both at the same time.
I would
Sure,
say get an autocoder and a CTS at the same time. But that's one of those things though you really need to do your research on.
Yeah.
Because there's multiple ways to go right now. There's the inkjet, wax, or laser, and you need to do your homework on what you really want to go with.
What do you guys have
Call
for
me,
CTS
I'll tell you.
right now?
I have the iMage, so inkjet, but I'm about to go laser. And Andy swears by wax.
Yeah, you'll once you get rid of that, once you get the laser and then get rid of it, I'll help you out on which wax machine to
Okay,
bring
cool.
in.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
No, that was his last one. He said. Pay attention, Andy. Jeez.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he thought of another one while we were talking. Just being polite.
All right.
By the way, I had the most polite. So this guy came in for an interview and was crazy, super polite. Had never had a job before. Just graduated high school. So I was like, okay, cool. Come for your trial day. And he did. He comes for his trial day on, what was it? Friday, I think. And was, again, like the most polite, almost
he's
to
a serial
fault
killer.
person.
He throws
that
women in the back of his car.
I hope not, but he and at the end, it's like some people at the end of their trial day, you're like, so what'd you think? Like, how was it? And some people are like, oh, it was okay. Or, I think I could do this, He was like, it was amazing. Just like talking.
Definitely kills
sort
people.
of like just
100% wears their skin by the end of the night.
well, anyway, he's probably hired. So, and
Have fun with that, bud.
Want to go to quick takes?
Keep your eyes open. Do you have any shop hacks before we go to quick takes?
Yeah, I mean, this was like a hard thing for me because I could, at this point.
That's the funny thing. It's like a recurring, I feel like we need to say it differently now. We want shop hacks, but people are always just like, dude, we're fucking 115 episodes in and people giving shop hacks. Like, how many more?
Baby
how
wipes.
many left?
Baby wipes. Baby wipes.
Baby wipes, 1,000%. That's just the number one all over the place. But do you have anything that specifically is just in your shop that you like that's kind of like your own thing that works good? Even if it's a repeat?
Yeah. I think I do have something that's probably in most shops, hopefully. Well, anyone who does embroidery. Just a little thing. We try to reuse stuff around here. So any cutaway backing, you can use as a duster. Sometimes you stitch that 2x2 whatever, and what am I going to use this backing? It's the same thing as a Swiffer. If not, you can't put it on the thing, but I use it to. We have a thing with dust here, as any shop does. This used to be a woodworking shop, so anything that falls off the ceiling, it gets everywhere. So we use the cutaway
Backing as dusters.
backing as dusters, and then throw
I
it
thought
out.
for sure your hack was going to be something to do with footwear. You need to wear the waffle ones are so comfortable or something.
No, I will wear stuff
Crocs.
I will never wear Crocs. I will never.
That would have been the best thing if you're you're my favorite shoe. It's Croc.
I will never. I will wear sneakers 100%. I will never be caught in Crocs. Nothing against Crocs, but I will never wear them.
Even on a boat.
Even on a
Nothing
boat.
against them, but I would rather die than wear them.
The other thing is I was paying $15 per canister for that spray air canister
Canned air, yeah.
to spray out the the bobbin area, and I was like, why am I doing this? One day I was like, oh, I wonder if they have it online in Amazon, and
Like a reusable?
yeah, like an electronic sprayer. It's 100%. It's $25 and it's rechargeable. It'll last you forever, hopefully. But there's no reason why to buy those, throwaway canisters for.
It's just bad for the environment, too.
It is super bad for the environment. Yeah, but
Have you ever sprayed your finger with that and frozen it?
I've
I don't know.
sprayed.
Something I used to do.
Yeah, I have.
I have one of the. I have one of those stories that's just like, it's not a good story. I mean, it's a great story. We talk about it all the time. But when I was younger, I used to just do a lot of stupid shit. And one of the stories that we always talk about with Brian is that we were like late night friends walking through Walmart, and they had one of those big displays in the middle, and it was a huge crate full of just those canned air electronic spray cans. And he was walking next to me, and I grabbed one and I sprayed him like right across the eyeballs with it. And I was just like, dude, it's just air. And I didn't know. I thought it was literally just canned air, but it's not. And I fucking almost blinded him. So.
And you still friends
cool
with
story.
him.
Yeah, still friends with me.
Things to do in upstate New York.
Yeah, exactly. So, so we'll just do quick takes.
Okay, Brad, one thing that helps you get through your day.
I would say music. Yeah, I would say.
What do you listen to mostly?
I listen to everything, but today specifically, we're listening to Rage Against the Machine.
Nice.
Get
Did you get to
fired
go
up
see
this
them
podcast.
in the new tour they're doing?
I didn't. So I think they're playing in Madison Square Garden soon, and I was thinking about. So the tickets are super expensive,
Yeah.
but my wife loved music. She went to school for music. We love going to shows too. So, but Rage Against the Machine. But I listen to anything from country to hip hop and everything. But music, we have a pretty good sound system in here, so it helps out a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say, going through your Instagram and watching like the reels and stuff you had on there, like everyone had like a really good song playing. So I was like, this is your own fucking like mix. If you go through all of those, it's just like hits.
Appreciate it, man.
So no, that was good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Test the waters or dive in the deep end. This one I'm actually curious about because you do seem to think really hard about what you do. So
As I am right now. I would say 2 years ago, test the waters, but now dive.
you're just like, fuck it right now. Let's just do it.
I think that's one thing that this past year was a lot of like self-reflection and self-growth, and I'm like, let's just do it. Let's go ahead.
Right.
Who cares what's in there?
YOLO.
go.
Let's do it.
That's it.
Okay.
10 presses or 2?
Yeah, I think you know the answer to this one. 2. 1. 2.
1 or 2?
2.
Okay. Favorite snack?
Beef jerky.
Dude. Fuck. Dude, I literally was about to. I was thinking of my favorite snack when you said favorite snack, and mine's beef jerky.
Beef jerky.
Yeah.
What's that
What
one?
flavor beef jerky, though?
Teriyaki.
That's not bad. I like Go Original.
What brand though?
I like Wild Bill's is my favorite because it's like really dry.
Okay.
But I don't know. I usually just try to find like small brands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd like to find more of like a mom and pop jerky.
Yeah.
My
Have you ever
dad
tried
makes
to
a
make
lot of
your own?
jerky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so growing up, being friends with someone who's Cantonese, like she used to go into Chinatown and they have like the Asian style beef jerky. And it was like if you haven't had that, go to whenever you're in Manhattan or any major city, go to Chinatown, get that beef jerky. It's basically crack.
Do you like a moist jerky or do you like a really dried out jerky?
I think I prefer moist. Yeah. On the wetter side. Not like obviously like
I get what you're saying.
This is not good because it's so wet, but like
Right. It's like still meat.
Yeah.
It's not like
Yeah, it's
dried
some
out.
truth to it. Yeah.
Is that like compared to a chocolate chip cookie that's crispy and then crumbles,
Exactly.
or one that's sort of
Well, kind of.
soft?
I mean, nobody likes well, I guess people do like hard cookies. I don't know. Maybe it's the same. I don't know. I just like dry jerky. I don't know why. I just do.
So interesting. You asked us what if, like, money was no object, what would we buy unscreen printing related? So I have a question on here. The next question is best purchase recently under $100?
Under 100.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that reusable blower. The replaces all the air canisters.
It's on, and you said it was on
It's on
Amazon somewhere?
$25. There's multiple that are under 25. Yeah, I mean, like if besides that, I would say like I don't know. I've eaten a lot of good food lately too. Like a lot of good food.
I can't think. This is hard for me. I can't think of a recent purchase that stands out that I thought was really cool for under $100. Maybe a water bottle. I've been like super into drinking water lately, like more so, and I feel like I have those really good insulated water bottles everywhere, and I have like too many of them at this point.
Like a hydro flask or something?
I don't
Or
even know what
just
they're called. It's like the one I have is like S, and then it's got like a slash in the middle and M. It's kind of like the Yeti cooler, but like I can put ice.
S&M?
I
Yeah,
can put
figures.
water. Yeah, I can put water in that thing, and it's like ice cold still with ice in it. Like 3 days later. So I don't know.
I need
that might be
one.
mine.
So let me know which kind that is. I need to buy one.
Okay.
What's next?
Oh, let's see. Are you watching or reading right now that you really like?
Food show, Big Appetite. It's
Of course, it's a food show.
yeah, Ben Hundreds, who is one of the part founders of the Hundreds brand. He also loves food. He's a great follow too, like in terms of like food. He travels everywhere and posts all his food. But he has a show on Tastemade called Big Appetite, where he travels to LA, New York. I think he comes to Boston too, and goes to all his favorite places. And they also do the Hundreds. They do a food family style food fest, which is like a clash between streetwear and clothing and food, which I definitely want to go to at some point in my life, which is coming up. But Big Appetite, and then The Old Man, which is on Hulu.
Oh yeah. I've only
I haven't watched that.
we've
yet.
watched the first, like, because it was coming out once a week after we binged it, and then we kind of got caught up. But I heard that it kind of falls off and isn't as good as the first
Way to ruin it for
half
him.
or whatever. Is that real? Like, have you seen?
No, I've watched the whole show. I think I wouldn't say it. I personally think it's a great show. I don't think it falls off. It has a little bit of a taste of Ozark in it. Like, I think it's like very similar in terms of like edge of your seat, like anxiety, like good anxiety. But I think I'm a big fan of Jeff Bridges. Obviously, it's the dude. But yeah, I think it's a good show.
My favorite cooking shows are I like Brad Leone's on It's Alive. I love that show. I watch that all the time.
Yeah.
And Chef with on Netflix, like that.
Yeah.
That his whole series is super fucking good too.
Yeah. Yeah, Roy.
So I just
Choi,
really like Jon Favreau. Like I just
Yeah.
like everything he does. So
He's the man. He does everything. I think there's another show on FX.
Ugly
called
Delicious is pretty good.
Ugly Delicious is very good. Atlanta. I don't know if you guys have.
I know the show. Doesn't it have Donald Glover in it?
Yes. It's not what you expect. That's all I'm going to say. So if you ever get into it, it's kind of catches you off guard in a good way.
I'll have to check that out. I haven't seen that yet. Okay, Andy, what do you got?
Last question. What's for dinner?
Tonight is going to be the first course is good. Ribeyes, and chicken wings.
Ribeyes and chicken wings?
Yes.
I mean, Boston's like a 5-hour drive. I could probably, I mean, I'll be there by like midnight.
You left right now.
Ribeyes and chicken wings. Yeah, we do. We try.
Are you
to cook
making
out
the chicken wings?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, I'll probably. So the thing about the ribeyes, I love the grill out, but anytime I cook steak, I do it on a cast iron. Just because you can't get a good sear on a grill.
Do you ever sous vide?
Yes, I have a sous vide.
That's like
mostly-
my favorite way to make them now.
Yeah, it's really good. Also, fish and pork are really good sous vide, like especially a pork tenderloin that is very lean. You can season them up pretty good and get some good flavor, and then sear it at the end, like you do with any other piece of meat.
Speaking of sous vide, I'm having some croissants.
He's going to Dunkin' Donuts
Get that
afterwards.
We're having chicky salad sandwiches on
On a croissant?
croissants. Yeah, dude.
Doesn't sound terrible.
I can eat croissants like all the time.
Yeah. Well, Brad, thanks for doing this with us, man. We're really stoked you got to hang out with us.
I really appreciate you having me. I mean, just like anybody else said, you guys are, obviously two people to look up in the industry and have done a lot to push it forward. And it's important for people to hear, especially people that are, no matter where you are in your career with screen printing, but people that are down in the basement, in the garage, keep pushing. And it's always good to hear these things weekly to get you by. It's kind of
Thanks,
like
man.
therapy. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Enjoy those
Great chatting with you.
chicken wings and ribeyes. That sounds fucking amazing. Now I need to live up to something better for dinner. I have no idea what I'm having. I think I was going to have a ham sandwich.
Just put it on a croissant, and then there
That's
you go.
fancy,
It's like,
yeah.
it's-
I'd rather put a
it's
ham
fancy.
sandwich on a ribeye if I can. All right, Brad. Thanks,
hey,
man.
thanks for rescheduling. That was all Dylan's fault.
What?
But actually, it was mine too because I turned out going to water-based camp also.
You guys are pushing your education forward. That's all right.
It's true. It's true. All right, man.
Thanks,
All
dude.
right, guys. Thank you very much.
See you later.